Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits, the Motorcast. Your host, Dave. And I got online with special guest, Chris Graves, the founder of the Funny Car Chaos. How you doing tonight, Chris?
Doing good, man. Great day in Dallas, Texas today.
How's the weather out there?
Sunshine and 65 degrees, just like I like it.
There you go. So, Chris, what made you decide to start Funny Car Chaos last year?
Well, we kind of needed it around where I'm from. There's a lot of cars that were around that wanted to race more often than they had the opportunity to, and probably half of those cars didn't necessarily fit into any of the offered current rules packages. So, just kind of feeling out some friends and things like that, and kind of seeing where things are going. I felt like there was certainly a room for a funny car event in the Midwest and in the South, particularly Texas, Oklahoma area. But none of it would have happened at all without Gene Nicodemus at North Star Dragway. We work at North Star Dragway, and he gave me the opportunity to get a date in there and kind of let me do what I wanted to try to do, and it didn't hold me back from anything. And so that really helped out a lot, having the confidence of a track owner giving you the opportunity to try something. So, and it certainly seemed to work pretty good. So
Now you're the official photographer at that track, right?
Yes, we're the track photographers. That's how we pay the bills. But I've always had an interest in, we get to see a lot of races. I've been to, I think, 85 drag strips in my life, and we've been to a lot of races. And I've always been intrigued by putting one on and hosting stuff. And I've been doing it for several years with other things, which kind of, those years I learned a lot. So I was better prepared for Funny Car Chaos than I have been in some other ventures. But it was just funny car time, man. It's funny car time on my watch, so I had to do it.
So why don't you recap for all of us how it went down last year?
Yeah, so last year was the first one. I think we announced it, like in December of the previous year, and kind of the sticker shock was good, and everybody was like, whoa, check this out, and no rules, and all, that was the biggest thing probably was the no rules deal. I mean, but we gained some racer support and local support, and Redline Shirt Club came on as title sponsor, and so it kind of just continued the ball rolling. People were joining, I think we had over 25 cars pre-entered, and 22 of them actually showed up. So it went very well, a lot of the cars that came had never been to North Star Dragway or even competed in Texas. We got cars from 7 states. You have to have people like Mark Sanders coming from Washington and the Housley's and the Morels coming long distances to come to Texas to support the Funny Car Chaos is really something special, and it meant a lot to me. And the fans in Texas obviously were grateful to be able to see cars like that they've never seen before. So it was really good. The first race went good. Mark Sanders ended up winning the A field, and my buddy Andy Mears from Lubbock, Texas, won the B field, and everybody seemed to have a good time, and everybody was smiling, and everybody was safe. So it was overall a really good first outing.
Oh yeah, Andy Mears, the Dragon Slayer. He beat Jordan Ballou. Barely beat him.
I know it. It was a really, really good race, and I think Jordan had a blast. Man, he's our youngest driver, and they just completed that car not long before the race, and it was really good to see them do well, and I believe they're attending all of the races this year, so they've got that Funny Car Chaos needle in their vein like me.
Yeah, you got quite a few young guys coming out this year, like Andrew Armstrong with the Smoky Bones, Aiden Healy-Smith.
Yep.
Man.
Yep. Oh, we're excited, man. It's going to be really a lot of fun, and with the success of the first race, the phone rang a lot, and I've been having to turn tracks down this year, honestly. I'm just kind of a one-man show. I do have a few people helping out here and there, but I've got a business to run, and me and my wife drive Front Engine Dragsters, and I run a Nostalgia Association down here, and I do other events as well. So just only had time to do 4 this year, and if these 4 go well, then we'll certainly entertain adding a few more next year. I think it's gaining a lot of interest, and it's just a lot of fun, and that's what I go for, man. My number one rule is to have fun. If you're not having fun, then you're doing something wrong, and so if everybody's having fun, then I think everything's a success overall.
So now, Chris, what year did you first get into drag racing?
From what my parents tell me, I was named at a drag strip. I've been going. My dad and mom have been taking me since I could walk. I think I've been to every national event at the Texas Motorplex except for about 3. So, it's been in my blood for a long time, and my dad was a big fan and went to Dallas International, when it existed here in North Dallas, and saw the big dogs running back in the heyday. And my grandfather was in a hot rod club in Dallas, and so hot rodding and cars and drag racing have always been pretty much a permanent part of my life.
So what year did you start working at the drag strip out there?
I think this is my 7th year at North Star. When I got out of college, I immediately decided I was going to try to run a photography business, which is Max Cackle Photos. And that, with support from my wife, Tara, has gone well, and we're thankful enough and blessed enough to be able to make a living in the sport of drag racing, which not a whole lot of people can do, but we love it, and we go every weekend from middle January to middle December. Really, there's only about a month off in between all that, over the holidays, and every weekend we're at a drag strip somewhere. But North Star Dragway has always been our home track, and we actually lived at the track for 5 years. So yeah, we know all about North Star Dragway and everything else. But I'm in my 16th year of shooting photos for Outlaw Fuel Altereds, and just a lot of great people that we've met in our time at the races, and a lot of people willing to help us out to get us where we are.
So you've never had an itch to get behind the wheel and do some drag racing?
Oh yeah. Well, me and my wife both drive blown front engine alcohol burning dragsters. We've raced at Bowling Green, we've raced at Bakersfield, and we race in the Southwest Heritage Racing Association here in the Texas-Oklahoma area, which I serve as president of that series. We're in our 6th year with the SHRA series, which is the largest nostalgia series in the Midwest. And we average 125 to 150 cars per race now. But yeah, I get my fair share of driving in. I'm certainly not the better driver. Tara is definitely the better driver. But we have fun, and we try to do big burnouts and get out there and be safe and go fast and see what we can do. But it's a lot of fun, and so we're looking forward to doing that. Actually, this weekend is our first race in San Antonio. So.
Now, did you say the dragsters were alcohol or nitromethane?
They run alcohol. We're not to the point where we're burning our own nitro yet. Although my wife Tara does have her nitro funny car license, and we do run John Hale's One Bad Texan nostalgia funny car. We try to do it once a year with Tara driving. Given the opportunity from John to do that and get her license a couple years ago out at the Motorplex, and she had a really good last fall in Tulsa in September. It was the weekend before Funny Car Chaos, actually. She won what will probably be the last DRO AAFC Challenge race at Tulsa. She ran her first 5. She ran her first 250-mile-an-hour run. So it was a very memorable weekend for us right before Funny Car Chaos. So there was a lot of funny car stuff going on last September. But we have fun, and we do it as much as we can. And just, we got the needle in the vein on the drag racing deal. We're right up.
So for you, what was it like to get behind the wheel for the first time of the alcohol dragster?
It was hairy, I had gotten my license in a center steer altered that ran, 530s and 540s, and so I was kind of used to that. But me and my dad and Rich Howell from California and Alan Meyer here in Dallas have all kind of worked together to team up and put the car together, and we took it out to Dallas Raceway, which is now a parking lot for a construction company, unfortunately. But I'll never forget that day, and I think that first night, my third run ever, we went a 484 at like 140 in the 8th mile. We do 8th mile competition down here, and so, you know, it was a lot of fun. There's nothing. It's pretty intense to have a blown alcohol engine sitting in front of your face, sitting over the rear end. So it's exciting. There's no doubt about that.
So what's the quickest pass you've done with the dragster?
Quickest pass?
Yeah.
Well, we run an index series here, which is based on a 465 in the 8th mile. So that's our target goal. We have been obviously under that on accident a couple times, but I've been 185 at Bakersfield and Bowling Green in the Nostalgia Eliminator 1 category, and ran a mid-7, you know, like a 740 or 750. And that was plenty fast for me for what I want to do in that car. So you get to scooting pretty good when you're doing quarter mile, which we don't have a lot of opportunities to go quarter mile. So that was a big difference for us. But yeah, I've been about as fast as I need to go, I think.
So what year was the dragster built?
Well, my dragster is actually an original old Top Fuel car from the West Coast, from what I'm told. It had a chassis tag on it from SEMA from 1969, and it was built by Ken Cox. So there's no telling how many runs are on that dragster, and I'm assuming it was built sometime in the late 60s, and I never have been able to trace down the actual, you know, who actually raced it and things like that. I wish I knew, but it's a survivor car for sure. It's pretty much the same chassis with a few upgrades and a new body, but I've got the original body as well. So it's a cool old piece for sure.
So now, when you take that car out on the track, how many crew members do you have, and who are your crew members?
Well, typically it's just me and my dad and his buddy George that comes and helps us out at the races some, and my stepmother Marlene, and it's we take it on an open trailer, and we got a couple handheld toolboxes, and that's it. So we're doing it old school, that's for sure. All I got on that car is a oil pressure gauge, and that's it. So there's not a lot of fancy gadgetry going on, or big trailers or anything like that in our operation. We are doing it old school and having fun.
So no sponsors for that dragster?
No. Me and my dad, and with support from Rich Howell and Ellen Meyer, and yeah, we don't have any sponsors. And nobody wants to sponsor me when I'm married to a funny car driver. When my wife's a funny car driver, she gets all the sponsor attention, which is appropriate.
So when you get that dragster ready for a weekend of drag racing, what goes into preparation to get that dragster ready for you?
Oh, not a whole lot. I mean, you gotta service the fuel system between races and run the valves and change the oil and just basic routine maintenance like that. Luckily we're seem to be like right in that performance gap where you can run some mid to high fours in the 8th mile and really not have to. You don't have to take your engine apart between rounds. It's when you start running nitro and running threes that you really got to start looking at your parts a lot more often. But, we haven't pulled the heads off of the motor in 2 years. So, and it keeps running just like it always does. So, you just do a basic in between round maintenance on it, and seems to be doing okay.
So now what are some of your favorite tracks to run her at?
Oh, I got a bunch. North Star Dragway is obviously our home track, and we love running there. I'm always been a fan of Bandimere. I like Colorado, and Bandimere Speedway has always been cool. We've been to a bunch of tracks. Bakersfield, there's no other track really in my book that gives you that vibe when you come through the front gate. You're the hair on your arm kind of stands up. It's just ridiculously rich in history, and the nostalgia. The nostalgia racing is our preferred market, and so being able to attend that, I think our first March